going to take a look at the Grandpa Mike's memoir and how I have applied the CARP digital design principles, CARP being contrast, alignment, repetition, and proximity. Okay, let's start with contrast then. So I've used for the title text, so this is our title text at the top. Okay, so I've used a dark text against a slightly lighter background, a gray background, just to make sure that's easy to read. And then I've reversed that for the body text, okay, and these subtitles as well. So that's our subtitle. Okay, and then the rest of it here, that's your body text. So I've reversed the color scheme. In that I've used white text against a black background, and then I've reversed it again here, just like the title, for the call out text. But as long as it's easy to read and it stands out, that's all you need to do. Okay. Now for the contrast of the text box color, so this black here, okay, I've done that so I wanted the contrast jump out from this gray background here. Okay, so we can see that the black background just, you know, does definitely contrast well against that. Now I did deliberately choose this white here, okay, for the border on each text box or image, again just to contrast both the black background here against the gray. So it just kind of separates those two. So let's now take a look at alignment. So just to start off real simple here for title text, I've just center aligned that, just to draw the reader's attention to the middle, the top middle of that page. And then all the rest of the text, or at least for the most part, is left aligned because the reader will be reading a lot of information here. This is not repeated here because this is a call out, and I did deliberately center align that because I want it to stand out against everything else. Okay, so whenever the reader's going through. We can also really quickly talk about the alignment of the boxes as well. So these are all is like a line running down here, here, and across the top and the bottom as well. Makes everything very presentable. Next up, let's take a look at repetition. Okay, so I've repeated a few things here. One being, so the background of the text boxes here, so that's all repeated. The borders as well, so I'm just going to label it 2. So the borders of the text boxes are the same in that they're the same color, the same style, and also the same weight or thickness. Okay, the fonts, so both for the title text here and in the main text, so that's 3. Okay, 3, that's also repeated, okay, throughout. And then the repetition of using, so we take a look at this, it's a little bit more complicated, but if this is the top half here, okay, so that's the top. So I've got image, so image here, let's call it image A, and then I've got a text box, and then below that I have another text box. So I've done it here as well, so A, B, C, so I've got image, text box, text box. Now I have flipped that, so like A here is different to A here, but that's okay as long as it's there's a repetition or a pattern in there. Okay, so you can see those patterns starting to appear. The one thing that is not repeated here is the title. That's okay, you don't need to use the same text you use for the title anywhere else, unless you have, well, you will have multiple pages, then you would use the same, so this same title text here on the next page. So finally, we're going to talk about proximity, and we can start this by looking at our title text here. So the title text, the proximity between it and the first 2 pieces of information being the text box and the image is very close, just to associate Grandpa Mike with this picture of Grandpa Mike, and then who he is as well. So that was deliberate, keeping that nice and close to the title so the reader can make that connection. And proximity is essentially all about connections. So again, if we have a look at event 2 here, this will actually be historical facts about the Vietnam War, in which Grandpa Mike will tell us a little bit more. So the proximity of those 2 was deliberate. Proximity being keeping it close together, these 2 text boxes, this text box and the image, keeping that close together as well. Okay, so that's a brief overview of how I applied the digital design principles of CARP, contrast, alignment, repetition, and proximity when I was creating Grandpa Mike's memoir. Thanks for watching.